Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jake from TodaysiPhone.com, and here's your TIP Daily for April 23rd, 2013. Okay, so the biggest news of the day is that Apple had its quarterly earnings call this afternoon, and they announced a ton of numbers, basically how the company is doing with revenue and sales and all that kind of stuff. So here are some highlights. In quarter 2 of 2013, Apple made $43.6 billion in revenue with $9.5 billion in profit. Now, the profit is down a little bit from the same quarter last year where it was $11.6 billion, but the revenue actually jumped a little bit, starting at $39.2 billion this time last year. In January and March of 2012, Apple sold 37.04 million iPhones. They upped that number in January and March of this year to 37.4 million iPhones. iPad sales saw a huge year-over-year jump, starting at 15.4 million last year and hitting 19.5 million this year. iPod sales are down a little bit from 7.7 million to 5.6 million, but that doesn't come as too much of a surprise. The need or desire for a dedicated music player is lessening as people get devices and really multi-capable gadgets that can have a great music player built in and also do a ton of other stuff like an iPhone or an iPad mini. Alright, well, that's it for numbers, but there were also a couple very interesting bits of information revealed in this call. First, Tim Cook addressed devices with screens bigger than 4 inches on the iPhone 5. You know, there are phones with 4.5 inches, phones with 5.3 inches, pushing the border of tablets even. When asked about whether an iPhone would launch with a bigger screen in the future, Tim Cook basically said that Apple's competitors sacrificed a lot of things to add these bigger screens to devices, including resolution, color quality, white balance, power consumption, application compatibility, and Apple just really isn't going to sacrifice those things just to have a little bit of a bigger screen on a spec sheet. You know, the company would rather have a fantastic, brilliant, bright, colorful, slightly smaller display than a bigger display that maybe isn't as well performing as it could be. Personally, I totally agree with this decision. I think it's definitely the way to go. A spec sheet is not everything. Apple just upped the screen size to 4 inches on the iPhone 5, and it really feels to me like a great screen size. It's bigger than it has been in the past, which it was necessary just because of where the market is going and where applications and video and stuff is heading on mobile devices. You need a bigger screen now, but at the same time, it's still totally portable, totally usable with one hand, and it looks insane. I don't feel a want for Apple to up the screen size or really change anything for a while, and it doesn't seem like Apple feels that way either. And finally, the company didn't really address any sort of specific new products coming up in the next year or so, but Tim Cook did spark a lot of attention when he mentioned that there's a great amount of potential for new product categories. You know, we've been talking about the iRadio service, the iTV, the iWatch. There are all these brand new product categories that Apple is hopefully going to break into, and even just a slight mention of something like that is getting a lot of people very excited. He went on record as saying that Apple can't wait to introduce new products in the fall and the rest of 2014. And I'm sure no one else can wait for those products to be announced either. That's really all. A couple callers tried to press him a little bit more, but Tim Cook wouldn't really release any more information, understandably. So it's up to us to speculate what Apple's going to break into and what these new product categories can mean. But fingers crossed that they've got some great things planned for 2014. Okay, well, that's all the big news for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Your question of the day today is, do you agree with me and Tim Cook in thinking that a smaller, better performing screen is preferred over a bigger and perhaps more power hungry or less saturated or bright screen? You can let me know in the comment section down below or on Twitter at TIP_Jake. Please don't forget the links to everything I talked about in this video in the description down below, so definitely check those out. And as always, for more news, views, and reviews, don't forget to hit up TodaysiPhone.com.